The heart of your teams. The heart of Texas. Bally Sports Southwest. The heart of the fan.
Strikes him out swinging. There's the slider. Swung on and missed. A perfect pitch. Strike three. A well-pitched game. Oh, Jon Gray, one of the first big pieces of the pitching puzzle, signed by the Rangers 2 off seasons ago, and he has the mound today in one of the biggest games of the year for the Rangers, the finale here against the Oakland Athletics. Welcome in, everybody. It's great to have you along on this Sunday afternoon. I'm Dave Raymond. CJ Nikowski and Emily Jones will be along shortly. For the Rangers, this is a pretty important ball game. The last game on this homestand, one more chance to pick up a win against a team careening toward 100 losses. And the timing is pretty critical for this Rangers team because we look at the standings, both the wild card and division standings. The Rangers 3 back in the West, but only 2 back in the loss column behind Houston and creeping up on a sliding Seattle Mariners team. The wild card division, well, it's a messy one. Mariners and Blue Jays both leading by a game and a half. Very critical spot for the Rangers today, CJ, and they have to feel pretty good about the fact Jon Gray has pitched well against Oakland before.
He certainly has. He made a big adjustment back in May, and that has been all the difference for Jon Gray. We take a look at his stuff and that slider in particular and the usage against these Oakland A's. It was very good for him when we were in Oakland back in May, and that's when we really started to see this different version of Jon Gray, the slider to go along with the fastball that was playing up, and so we saw a really good version of him. We certainly want to see that again here this afternoon. 2 starts against the Oakland A's, 13 1/3. How about the ground ball rate at 81%, 40% higher than what he's done throughout the season?
Well, the idea is he goes deep and then hands it over to a bullpen where a couple of veterans have really started to stabilize lately for the Rangers. Perez and Smith in the spotlight with Emily when we come back.
This Sunday afternoon as Rangers baseball is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. The last one here at home before a 2-city road trip, a big one on tap this coming week, and of course a big one on tap here this afternoon as the Rangers look to take the series win over the Oakland Athletics, and probably more importantly to build on some positive momentum that was generated last night in a tight 3-2 victory over these A's. And the bullpen a huge part of that one, as we can see in our Shiner Box spotlight. A couple of guys that played a big role in last night's win and have been pretty good as of late. Talking about Martin Perez first off, and you look at his last 5 appearances, very, very solid out of the bullpen. Obviously started the season in that starting rotation. Just said he wants to contribute in any way possible to this team's success, and he has done that of late. And speaking of, so has Will Smith. You look at his last 6, including 4 big outs last night in this game against the A's. Really 2 veteran guys showing up big as stabilizing forces in a bullpen that's been a little lost of late.
Well, those guys are going to need to be big again today. I don't know necessarily specifically Perez and Smith. We'll see. It don't matter how far Jon Gray can take his start this afternoon against an Oakland A's team that comes in 44-98. 36.5 games out in the West. Tony Kemp leading it off in left field. Zach Geloff at second. Ryan Noda will be at first base. It's Brown, Jordan Diaz, and Butler in the middle. Kevin Smith plays shortstop. Soderstrom just does the catching. And Esteury Ruiz, the right fielder, bats ninth.
And it is Jon Gray going here this afternoon. We just highlighted him in our open and the success that he has had against the Oakland A's. Overall, an 8-7 record for Gray with that 3.85 ERA. 17 home runs allowed in his 142 2/3 innings. A ground ball rate of 42%, just below league average. This pitch arsenal goes back again to the middle of May when he made the change and got rid of his sweeper. So it's slider, four-seam fastball, changeup, and curveball for Jon Gray. How about the defense behind him today? In the outfield, left to right, you're going to get Evan Carter, Leody Taveras, and Robbie Grossman. In the infield on the corners, it's going to be Josh Smith and Nathaniel Lowe, with Corey Seager and Marcus Semien up the middle, and Jonah Heim behind the plate.
All right, Evan Carter with that start in left field today. Started in right in his big league debut 2 nights ago. So now starting left, where he has played a little bit more often. He's typically a center fielder. And Jon Gray's ready to go. His first pitch right in there for a strike to Tony Kemp. Kemp hitless so far in this series. In fact, beyond this series, 0 for his last 8 now. Veteran leadoff man, and he's quickly in a hole, 0-2. Well, it's the final game on this long homestand for the Rangers. And a homestand that we knew would be a critical one. We're hoping the Rangers could make a little hay. It didn't work out that way, but they can still finish it on a positive note. A win yesterday, and today would make it a winning streak, which they haven't had in quite some time, since mid-August. And the count stays 0-2 on Kemp.
Yeah, they need to win for a lot of different reasons. They need it, obviously, most importantly, to continue to work toward that wild card spot, postseason spot for them, maybe even the division, and then just playing some good baseball heading into that series that Emily was mentioning in Toronto.
1-2 on Tony Kemp. Bruce Bochy feeling a little bit lighter day, a little bit better today after the win. Make a huge difference, though, heading to Toronto if they could make it 2 in a row. It is a struggling Oakland team, and a team, I think, against whom you would have assumed that you could have some success. Mark Kotsay, their manager, in his second year in Oakland, and it's been a struggle. 44-98. Kemp hits this ball down the right field line, but foul. Ooh, keeps the count 1-2.
They put Tony Kemp and Martin Maldonado into the category of a couple of guys that are not necessarily known for having strong bats, but seem to show up against the Rangers at times, and especially with a little bit of surprise power, as Kemp was just out in front of this one a little bit. Almost looked like he hit that with one hand on the bat. Plenty of distance. He just looked at foul.
One of the few true veterans on this team. Kemp, that one his 8th big league season. And he takes strike 3 call. Good fastball from Gray, and there's his first strikeout today.
A good bounce back there from Jon Gray after the near home run. He comes back with the four-seam fastball. It's 97 miles an hour. And how about that location? Jonah Heim barely had to move.
Well, that makes it a good start for Gray, who will now look at Zach Geloff. A's second baseman, who has been a steady force in their lineup, especially in the second half. 11 homers, 25 RBIs for Geloff. And he gets on base at a pretty healthy clip, a .341 on base average this year.
A pretty unique stance that we have seen from him, and I'm with you. This guy looks like he is a keeper and probably going to be around for a long time, but he is really down in his legs. More of that squatting position, and he gets pretty spread out.
Gray jumps ahead 0-2, just as he did to Kemp. And teases him off the plate with a fastball there at 98 miles per hour. Well, the right-hander has the pitch, delivers just off the plate, and that's a slider that ran away from Geloff, and he almost went after it.
Take a look at this from the side. He may have.
It's now a 2-2 offering. And that is just a little bit off the plate.
And I got to tell you, too, it is Doug Eddings behind the plate here this afternoon on the umpiring crew. And generally, he has a pretty wide zone. He's going to open it up and has throughout his career. Borderline pitches more often than not getting called strikes.
Ground ball shortstop. Easy play for Seager. 2 up, 2 down here with the first. Interesting, Gray would jump ahead of both hitters 0-2. But then they did make him work a little bit to get the strike out of Kemp. Geloff to get that ground out. So here is Noda. Ryan Noda, first baseman, 14 homers, 48 RBIs. And he'll take strike 1. All the lefties in there today for Oakland. Kemp, Noda, Seth Brown, Lawrence Butler, Soderstrom. There's a strike, and again 0-2 to start to the at-bat. Gray looks pretty dialed in here early on. John making his 26th start of the season. He's 31 years old. I mentioned earlier, this is year 2 for Gray. He signed a 4-year deal to kind of anchor things for this Rangers staff. The 1-2 pitch fouled away.
Yeah, of course, we saw, you mentioned it, year 2 last year, watching John Gray, and did a nice job for the Rangers. He did have 3 IL stints, but nothing significant and nothing with his arm. And you watch the way he pitched, you thought, you know, a couple of more upgrades, and you could see where he'd fit in nicely in the middle of a championship caliber rotation. And that's what the Rangers did this past offseason.
This one into center field and drops just in front of Taveras. He got a pretty good jump on it, but that thing just died in front of him, and Noda is on with a single.
Not hit very hard off the bat here for Ryan Noda. It's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. You mentioned, you could even see a really good view of that there, how that ball had some movement to it. And usually with the left-handed bat, you're thinking maybe he's going to hook that ball, but he got inside of it. That's why you saw it go right to left and then kind of die on Taveras.
So base runner for Seth Brown. And he'll take a little bit in. Ball 1. Low batting average for Brown, an on-base percentage well below league average at .283. But he does have a little power. You have to be respectful of that. That's low. 2-0. Oakland won the opening game of this series 6-3 on Friday. Rangers came back and eked one out yesterday, 3-2. Strike 1 on Brown. In general, the Rangers have done a good job against Oakland this year. They've won 8 and lost 4. Here's the 2-1. Fastball's got some pop on it today, but a little bit tight. Ball 3.
And you can see John Gray being just a little bit careful and shooting for edges with his fastball. That is a pitch that Brown has been good against, both the 4-seam and 2-seam fastball. Sliders and changeups from righties, not so much.
Ground ball, second base. Semien has plenty of time. Throws out Brown, and the inning is done. So Gray does his job in the first. Now Semien, Seager, and Nathaniel Lowe coming to bat. Is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. And by Baylor Scott & White Health. Changing healthcare for the better. The Rangers got the win yesterday. Hoping to do it again here today against this Oakland squad. And we take a look at the lineup. The Rangers 77 and 64. It'll be Marcus Semien and Corey Seager up top per usual. Lowe slides back into that third spot of the lineup. There's Garver, Grossman, Taveras in the middle. Heim catches, Smith at third, and Evan Carter with a start in left field.
And it'll be the right-hander Luis Medina going this afternoon for the Oakland A's. 3-8 record overall. You can see the high ERA, but don't be fooled by it. He has been much better lately. He's got a really live arm, a 4-seam fastball that sits at 96 miles an hour. His slider actually has been an excellent pitch for him this year. He's got a 2-seamer, curveball, and a changeup in the mix as well.
First pitch swinging. Semien hits it down the line. If that's fair, it's gone! First pitch of the game, and Semien puts the Rangers in front.
It's a nice job here by Marcus Semien. Jump on that first fastball that you see and that you like. And it looks like the two-seam fastball with not a lot of run on it at all. And Marcus Semien with a line shot here to left field, his 23rd home run of the season.
8th leadoff homer of the year for Marcus. And that is a new franchise record. All right, a hot start. A much needed game today for the Rangers. Corey Seager now, and he'll take a strike. It's quickly 0-2. Corey with 29 homers, 86 RBIs, and bounces this one sharply up the middle, handled by Smith at shortstop, and that is the first out of the inning. Bring up Nathaniel Lowe.
So you mark that as a 1-6-3 for you, or a straight 6-3?
6-3 for me.
Yeah.
Did he get a piece of it?
Oh yeah, he nicked it, tipped it, but didn't really change direction or anything. I don't know how much contact matters.
I don't either. My feeling has always been if they touch it, I'll put them in there, especially if they were making an effort at it. But I couldn't tell.
Yeah, so I'm looking now at the official MLB ruling on that one. Grounds out to pitcher Medina, to shortstop Smith, to first baseman Noda.
Okay.
So does he get an assist for that?
Yeah, absolutely does. They also just hit Nathaniel Lowe, and the Rangers have a free base runner. On that back foot.
Well, the slider I mentioned, it is a really good pitch. It's got some movement to it. It is live, but this one just takes off on Medina and catches Nathaniel Lowe in the foot. And Doug Eddings back there even pointing exactly where it hit him. He didn't just call it a hit by pitch. He pointed to his own foot. Watch this from Doug Eddings. Right there. That's where I got him.
That's a funny reaction. That's great.
Kind of want to see if he does that for everybody, right? Somebody in the shoulder, is he going to point to his own shoulder?
A little dramatic interpretation of the events. I like it. So Garver now the hitter. And he'll take a little bit in. 2 balls, no strikes. 4th time this year that Lowe's been hit by a pitch. Can the Rangers do something with a freebie of a base runner? Garver was hit by a pitch yesterday. Medina is 2-0. There's a breaking ball. Strike 1 to Garver. Sitting on 16 homers and 42 RBIs now this year. Man, lately, the last 6 games, 9 for 18. 500 average with a lot of power. And it's 2-2. And who knows how this final chapter ends up playing out. But when it is written, Garver's name will be prominently in that final chapter, and for good reasons, because he has stepped up when this team has needed him the most this year. The 2-2. And that is lined over third, base hit, and heading into that left field corner. Lowe heading to third. He'll be in there easily on the Garver double. And he delivers again.
And he does it on a slider here against Medina. Again, this is one of his better pitches, but not in that location. He's trying to get it away from Mitch Garver. He leaves it on the inside corner. Much easier for a right-handed hitter to get to it, and especially when you are as red hot as Mitch Garver.
Well, that works out now in a pretty serendipitous way with Grossman now batting. Grossman turned in some huge at bats yesterday in the 3rd spot of the order. He drops to 5th today, and he takes one right on the corner for a strike. Robbie, he's 0 for his last 11, but I think the confidence right now for him and in him is pretty high right now. They feel like he's going to give him a very good at bat. Yesterday, 3 huge walks. Infield in the 1-1 pitch. That one's in the air, center field, pretty well struck. Butler going back, and he got twisted up. It bounces up over the wall. That's an automatic double. Grossman drives in a pair, and the Rangers lead 3-0.
A more hard contact here against Medina, and once again on the slider. This ball is smoked 102 off the bat, and you can see Butler, and he was in trouble. And the way that ball was kind of spinning away from him, he was unable to make the adjustment, unable to reach back and one hop over the wall for 2 RBIs for Robbie Grossman. He had a great day yesterday with all the walks, and today here swinging the bat early, driving in a couple.
Scott Emerson out there, and that looked like a rather stern message he was delivering. 3 first-inning runs here for the Rangers. And it doesn't get any easier for Medina, because now here is Leody Taveras. 2 for 4 yesterday, and he takes strike 1. Last 7 games for Leody, 11 for 25. That's a .440 average. And he lines it to left. Coming on quickly and into a dive. Kemp, nice catch. Just took one away from Taveras.
Two-seam fastball that you get from Medina, so this ball's going to have some sink. You got to work hard to get it up in the air, and you can see that little movement at the end, and Leody did a good job getting that pitch in the air, just not sinking fast enough. And Kemp for a long time has been a very good defensive outfielder. You also see him in the infield. That's a great play. Diving forward like that, not easy.
So it'll be in the hands of Jonah Heim. And he fouls one away, strike 1. Heim in there today, 15 homers, 77 RBIs. Jonah did not play yesterday. Of course, the Rangers acquired Jonah years ago now from Oakland. And that's taken high, 1-1. Jonah was a part of that Elvis Andrus Chris Davis exchange. One pitch, and that is high. 2-1. And so Medina is about to deliver his 20th pitch of the inning.
When do you think the last time the Rangers scored 3 runs in the first inning?
Didn't it happen on this homestand?
They scored 3 against the Astros?
I thought maybe there was a game. There's a bouncer down to first. Noda goes to the bag. Heim retired. The inning is done, but a good first inning it was.
It certainly was, and thanks to Marcus Semien jumping on the first pitch of the ball game and setting the tone for the inning here for Marcus Semien, 23rd home run of the season.
I do believe Pudge and Adrian would approve of that first inning as the Rangers lead 3-0 over the A's as we head to the top of the second. And in talking to Bruce Bochy about starting pitching, and in particular Jon Gray, he said, look, I love his stuff, and he's got good stuff. So the thing he needs to do most importantly is to pound the strike zone. What we've seen is a lot of guys, and Nathan Eovaldi kind of admitted to this last night, trying to be a little too perfect. That kind of tends to happen when things aren't going exactly your way, and that's been the case for this starting rotation over the last 20 or so games. So if everyone just kind of settles in, pounds the strike zone, trusts their stuff, and lets the defense do the work, they feel like things can round into form. Yeah, it's really difficult to do, as easy as it sounds, right? You feel all the pressure in the world, and you want to be the guy for your team, right? That's the other part of it. When things aren't going well, you want to step in and you want to be the guy that everybody can rally behind and maybe feel a little bit better about. I'd say the same thing for the bullpen.
Well, there's a strikeout of Diaz to get us going here in the second.
A nice looking slider here from Jon Gray. in the good version of it, it really has been a great pitch for him just off the plate, but you're ahead in the count. You get Diaz to expand the zone.
One gone, and Lawrence Butler, the batter. Couple of early strikeouts for Gray. And he'll go with a curveball this time for ball one. Well, I think it's an interesting conversation and concept, even this idea of pounding the zone, trusting your stuff, etc. Guys trying to be too perfect at times. Understand that instinct. And like you say, it's not as simple as it sounds, right?
Yeah.
Because the other thing that's happened during this tough stretch, you mentioned it yesterday, all the home runs allowed, right?
Yeah.
What were 45 home runs in the previous 20 games prior to yesterday?
Yeah, you feel like you're in the zone and it's costing you, and teams are just all of a sudden have gotten comfortable against the entire staff. And so yeah, all of that weighs into it, and it's just a matter of your ability to execute. Maybe not shooting black corners, but you start to break the plate up into thirds or in even halves. If you're struggling a little bit, you still rather guys put the ball in play early on in counts that should be to your advantage.
High chopper gets to second base. Semien throws out the speedy Butler.
So I asked the question and you answered it.
Yeah.
And the 3 runs that the Rangers scored, they did it one other time this homestand, but I felt like it had been a while, because prior to this homestand, they hadn't scored 3 or more runs in the first inning since June 28th. So they didn't do it in July. They didn't do it in August. And
Wow.
we watched this offense just lay into teams in the first 3.5 months of the year. Or I guess really 4.5 months. What am I doing here? April, May, June, July. Yeah, first 4.5 months. But that's the 9th time now this year where they have scored 3 or more in the first inning.
Well, the last time they did it was last Sunday. John Gray was on the mound, and it was a Mitch Garver 3-run homer against the Twins and Kenta Maeda. And strike pitch, very high. 1-1 to Kevin Smith.
The Rangers are 7-1 when they score 3 or more runs in the first inning.
Okay.
The one game they lost was to the A's.
Is that right?
Yep. Back on April 21st.
Oakland, I still feel like, you know, for all that this season has been for them, they've been a little bit pesky. A 1-2. And there's a strikeout of Smith. So Gray strikes out a couple in the second, 3 so far. And the Rangers have the early 3-0 lead behind their right-handed starter.
Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, game within the game, and we have already seen this now for the Rangers, but with Luis Medina, 50% first pitch strike rate. Well, that is the lowest among major league starters. You get behind these Rangers, and they've done some significant damage with that .370 batting average. And he's got live stuff, which makes it interesting. You get certain guys that the ball just moves a lot, good velocity, good breaking pitches, sharp breaking pitches. Well, they can pitch behind in the count. It's not your first position that you'd want to, but for a guy like Medina, that's been a little bit of a problem. And so for the Rangers, they have capitalized on that.
Got to him for 3 runs in the first. And Smith fouls off strike 2 here. Josh hitting 185 with 5 home runs. He has homered on this homestand, right? It was against Houston. That's been his 1 hit on the homestand. And he'll take away inside. 2-2. And for Josh, it's been hard to come by lately. 4 for his last 46. 2-2. Yeah, this one is out over third, but foul. So Medina obviously already huffing and puffing out there. It was a tough first inning for him. It's been a 5th pitch here to Smith, and there will be a 6th. And so this is where the Rangers can make a difference. Even if Josh Smith, we mentioned the recent struggles in terms of just getting the hits, But he can put good at bats on guys, wear them down a little bit. There's a cumulative benefit to that. Guys at the bottom of the order can do what he's doing right now.
Just second highest pitches per plate appearance for Josh Smith on these Rangers right now. Only Mitch Garver is seeing more pitches per plate appearance. He seems to understand the strike zone pretty well. He's done a good job here with the foul balls. Of course, we'd like to see hits and see him get on base, but you're right. It gives you a tough at bat.
Saw some of this the other day. Must have been in that Houston series a couple of times. With Scherzer, get ahead of a guy like Yordan Alvarez or somebody, and then just foul ball, and you just start getting a bad feeling. And if you're Medina, I'm sure there's, well, what else can I throw? I showed this guy everything, and he just keeps fouling it off.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at the kind of the pitches so far that he's thrown. Only one slider in there, and Josh Smith was able to foul it off. He's tried to go at him with the fastball and the changeup. The slider is the big swing and miss pitch for Medina.
That slider
not against the lefties as much.
He's in the dirt. He'll make it a full count. So it will require at minimum now 11 pitches to Smith. Infield is back. Here comes the payoff. And Josh takes low. He walks to start the second, and just earmark that plate appearance right there. Keep that one in mind. 11 pitches to get the walk. How much impact will that have maybe on this inning?
Yeah, there you go right there for Medina with that 11% walk rate, 9th highest in the big leagues. And we know this guy is known for giving you a good at bat. Obviously seeing some of this big league pitching for the first time.
Carter takes a strike here. That's the curveball from Medina. Evan Carter, his second major league start. He made his debut Friday. We saw him yesterday defensively late in the game. He was great in his debut, and he bounces this back to the mound. Medina will go to second. They get the one out there and able to return it to first in time for the double play.
All right, time now for some StatCast powered by Google Cloud, and we take a look at Marcus Semien, and it's sweet Marcus Semien. Why? How about the sweet spot batted ball leaders in Major League Baseball? There is Marcus Semien, 4th in the league. He's done it 181 times this year, where he has squared it up, hit it on the barrel or the sweet spot, if you will. And they're not all hits, but a lot of them are. And how about the batting average when he does get it on the sweet spot? That's crazy. 603 with an OPS over 1,000. He definitely sweet spotted that one in his first at bat.
Lined a home run out of here in the first. His 23rd homer of the season, his 8th leadoff home run this year. Comes up empty on that one. 2-1.
So 2 innings into this game, we have twice now where there's been batted ball outs that have gone 1-6-3, but only one double play. Sounds like some kind of trivia question.
Well, and on the one, I don't know how much Medina was trying to make a play or just trying to protect himself. The last one, he was definitely trying to make a play, and he did a nice job. 2-2. And that ball's lined out to left field. Kemp on the run near the wall, and it's off the base of the fence. Semien into second with a double. And the Rangers have a little something going here.
Chalk it up to another sweet spot, and Medina just taking a ball off his chest. I don't know if that came from the umpire, but this is a hanging pitch here from the right-hander. The slider, remember, Marcus hit the two-seam fastball out the first time. The slider has not been on here today. It would have taken a great play by Tony Kemp, and he couldn't quite get there. And an easy double for Marcus.
So now Semien, who grounded out in the first inning, or pardon me, Seager, chance to drive in a run. He'll take downstairs. Seager hit a 2-run homer Friday night in the first inning. He was hit by a pitch later in that game. But he's 0 for 8 since that home run. And it's a ball and a strike now.
I told you yesterday something that has only happened 3 times for the Rangers, and that's where Marcus Semien and Corey Seager had gone for combined at least 0 for 8 in a game. But they did it yesterday and won, and Marcus Semien already with a couple of hits.
That one gets away. Semien races over to third. A wild pitch from Medina.
It's a changeup that he spikes in the dirt, and he's having a hard time right now finding it. They're trying to go away. He pulls it, and for Soderstrom, he tries to backhand it. Didn't try to block the baseball. And whenever we see a catcher back pick it cleanly, we're always impressed. But it's not your first choice. Right? Your first option is to square that ball up, get your chest kind of leaning over a little bit, and deaden the baseball and keep it in front of you.
Well, Semien trying to be a distraction over at third base. The 2-1 pitch, and that's lifted out to left field. Kemp backpedaling, and he found his spot. The inning is over. Rangers leave a man at third. We've played 2 innings so far this afternoon. The Rangers on top 3-0.
TNT fiber fast pitch, and for Jon Gray, how about the slider ranks among all major league starters going back to July 24th? The usage, nobody has thrown their slider at a higher usage than Jon Gray, and all the other numbers behind it have been really solid, including that 167 batting average against, and he's got 26 strikeouts on that slider.
This ball hit hard out to right field, and that one is gone. That was the curveball, and Soderstrom laces it into the seats. His 3rd home run of the year. It's 3-1.
It looked like a little kind of get me over curveball here for Jon Gray, just trying to get ahead of Soderstrom, who doesn't play very often. And so we saw this yesterday with Austin Hedges, right? The idea that you would go at a guy who was kind of a backup and not seeing regular time with off-speed stuff, but that was not the good version of Jon Gray's curveball. 3rd career home run for the 21-year-old rookie.
Well, first pitch swinging, and Ruiz bounces it to third. Good play by Smith, although he did drag low across the running lane. They get Ruiz one away.
It's a nice play here by Nathaniel Lowe on the back end of this. First you have Josh Smith on the run and kind of a little bit of a tail. Now I think Nathaniel might have held the bag anyway. Let's see. That was close, maybe not. He does get the tag.
Well, not an easy play for a guy at first. Nicely handled by Lowe, who has done a really good job over there this year. Tony Kemp now, he struck out looking in the first inning, and he takes strike 1. He fell behind 0-2 in the first inning, but then battled his way back for a bit. And he lifts this out to center field. Good job by Taveras to run it down. 2 away. We have a moment now for Baylor's Scott and White Health.
Doc says you're good.
2 away. Here is Zach Geloff. Grounded out in the first inning, 0 for 1. And he'll take outside. Couple of home runs in today's game. One by Semien, one by Soderstrom just a moment ago. Yesterday's game, we were scoreless in that thing until the 6th inning. When in the bottom of the 6th, the Rangers finally got the scoring started. Ended up a 3-2 ball game. Rangers won on a wild pitch. 2-1 now to Geloff. Yesterday, I mean, I would say for the most part of this homestand, it's felt like you know, the heart of the summer. The ball's been flying and a lot of runs scored. And yesterday was an old school pitcher's duel. 2-2.
Yeah, it was good to see. Now important for the Rangers to keep the ball in the ballpark. That's been a little bit of an issue, but I do think bigger picture, anybody looking at this stadium now, of course, opened up in 2020, and so here we are now in our 4th year. And it's safe to say, yes, you can hit home runs here. It's not a automatic pitcher's ballpark the way we thought it was going to be during construction. Remember, Joey Gallo came in and took some BP before really anything was done. This place is huge, but it plays really fair.
Foul ball by Gallo. Yeah, this year, according to the statistics, it's actually played maybe just marginally favorable to hitters, and that's kind of where this thing has settled in. Not much. It's pretty fair. The 3-2 pitch, that is just up, and Geloff takes the walk.
You're going to get your base hits because of the surface, and it plays pretty quick. It will be interesting to see, though. The other thing that happens with the Rangers in this ballpark is that they turn the playing surface over every few years, and I don't know if it's official just yet, but it sounds like there's a pretty decent chance that we'll see a new turf in here next year after year 4, and wondering if that'll slow down some of those ground balls that get to these fielders and into the outfield pretty quickly.
Strike one on Ryan Noda, who had a base hit in the first. Two hits so far today for Oakland. And Gray misses off the plate. 1-1.
So we just saw Soderstrom hit that home run. Mentioned he is a 21-year-old rookie. Noda at 27, also a rookie. Originally started out with the Blue Jays, got traded to the Dodgers, was placed on waivers by the Dodgers, claimed by the A's, and now finds himself in the big leagues. And you can see him leading all rookies with the 374 on base.
Yeah, he's been good. Heim trying to see if he can catch Geloff sleeping down there at first base. And Geloff, by the way, he could run a little bit. 10 steals. Gray's 2-1 pitch, and that is turned foul. 2-2. When we talk about some of the all-time best seasons for an Athletics rookie when it comes to on base, Noda right now up there in the top handful. Mitchell Page in 1977 set the franchise record with a 405 on base. Ben Grieve in 98 and a 386, second best ever in Athletics history. 2-2. That's up. So a full count on Noda. Ben Grieve, the son of our buddy Tom Grieve, first-round draft pick for Oakland. He walked 85 times in that rookie season. That's amazing. 3-2. Runner goes, and that's fouled away.
You see that was a 98 for Ben?
Yeah.
He's a good player. He and I were in the same draft. He was the second overall pick in 1994. A great career.
Gray trying to get through this third inning. Here's his 3-2. Runner goes again, and that is outside. Back-to-back 2-out walks here. So here we go. It's back to what Emily was talking about last inning. Guys trusting their stuff, you know, resisting that urge to be too perfect and going after hitters. And in this case, a couple of walks here for Gray, who had been on the attack in the first 2 innings. 3 strikeouts in those first 2 innings. I wonder if the home run earlier this inning by Soderstrom, you know, might just make a guy a tad more tentative.
Jon Gray, for the most part, the walks have been good for him. He came into this one 8.3% of the walk rate, just a little bit better than league average, but he did walk 4 in his last start in 5 innings.
He's off the plate to Seth Brown now. So it's turning into a longer inning for Gray. This will be his 20th pitch here in the third. 1-0, and that one's in there for a strike. We mentioned a little earlier the kind of success that Gray has had against Oakland. He's been really good against the A's this year. This is his third start against them, but a 1-0 mark with a 2.03 ERA. That's tight, 2-1. And he goes last 4 starts. With last year rolled into there, he's 2-0 with a 2.73 ERA. The 2-1 pitch, and that one is lined down the right field line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Dug out by Grossman. Gelof's in. Noda will be stopped at third. RBI single by Brown makes it a 1-run game. It's 3-2.
It's going to be a slider here from Jon Gray, but he's behind in the count, and so he can't throw that real nasty one and shoot for the corner. And you can see Brown does a nice job of getting the head out on that slider. You just kind of hope that maybe he hooked it enough to get it foul, but he didn't. One hop off the wall. And played pretty well there in right field by Robbie Grossman to get it in quickly and prevent a second run from scoring. So this becomes now about, for Mike Maddux and Jon Gray, getting ahead, right? We saw the 2 walks. We saw Brown in a good hitters count. And everything changes, of course, as we know. And so for pitchers falling behind, you see Andrew Heaney now warming up in that Ranger bullpen. It's a tough way to pitch, even against a team that is struggling like the A's. You mentioned it, a couple of good young hitters starting to establish themselves in this lineup.
Well, that's interesting to see Heaney throwing down there. So it appears the Rangers have made a decision on how the rotation is going to play out going forward. That Heaney will be the man bumped into the pen. Jordan Diaz now the batter with runners on the corners. And he'll go after the first pitch. Lofts it high in the air down the first baseline, but foul. 0-1 to the A's third baseman.
Yeah, we saw Heaney yesterday down there. We never saw him warm up, but we did see him in the Ranger pen. It wasn't on our scorecard today as a reliever, but obviously now 2 days in a row. We know that Dane Dunning is pitching that first game in Toronto. So it appears that Heaney now in the pen and Dunning the guy getting a start.
Striking there to Diaz, and it's quickly 0-2. Might have been a little nervous energy in the building here for the better part of this half inning. And now hoping that they can get Gray through the third. He needs one more strike here to get Diaz. And that's outside.
I think the one thing we really haven't seen Jon Gray take advantage of either, I mentioned it with Doug Eddings, notorious for having a wide strike zone, and not just wide, up, down, off the edges. He calls with some consistency, but they got to be close. And Jon Gray still feeling for that command here a little bit.
Got Diaz swinging last time, and this time Diaz flips it out at center field. That drops in. It ties the game. Brown heading to third. Now he slams on the brakes and returns to second. But a bloop single by Diaz makes it a 3-run inning and ties this thing up.
It's kind of an impressive piece of hitting here. You're going to watch this fastball at 97 and look at the location. I mean, it's inner third. And to be able to get the barrel to it and hit it hard enough. He didn't hit it that hard, as you mentioned, with 85 off the bat. But that was a really good fastball. And here comes Bruce Bochy, and that is going to be it for Jon Gray. Wow.
2 2/3 innings, and Boch just doesn't have a lot of rope to extend these days. Rangers will make a move in the third inning in a 3-3 ball game. Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Gatorade. G fuels greatness. G fuels you. A 3-3 contest here. Third inning. Oakland still batting. They've done some damage. Not Gray out of the ball game, and Andrew Heaney coming out of the pen for the first time in almost a year now. his first relief appearance for the Rangers.
Yeah, did a couple of times last year with the Dodgers, had a game in relief in the postseason last year as well. But what you see overall here is a 4.22 ERA for the left-hander, four-seam fastball, slider, and changeup in the arsenal. 11th time that he has done it in the regular season. This will be number 12 for Andrew Heaney coming out of the bullpen.
Lawrence Butler, a left-handed hitter. He'll swing and miss at strike one. So interesting move. Bruce Bochy not messing around after 3 runs had scored, and it was pretty clear that Jon Gray was feeling around for it a little bit there. He just up and makes the move, the 1-strike pitch, and this one on the ground, third base, and it gets past Smith. Here comes Brownhill's score. Into second base, Butler, and the A's have taken a 4-3 lead.
Well, it's had some funky spin on it. It was a slider, and it looked like it was off the end of the bat. Josh Smith was there, and he's such a great defender, and it looked like he got a little tied up on the footwork and couldn't get himself in position, at least the best position to field the baseball. You see it right there. That front foot was right where the glove was, and off the glove and into the outfield.
A 2-base error. It leaves 2 more men in scoring position, and now Kevin Smith, the 9th hitter of the inning for Oakland. He'll swing right through strike one. Now the Rangers just don't really have room right now for mistakes and certainly for losses. And Heaney's 1-strike pitch, that's in, and it got Smith. Oh my. So an error and a hit batter, the bases are loaded. Boch wanted to check upstairs, take a look and see if that maybe hit the bat. So we'll do the same.
Let's take a look here. And nope, that looked like it caught all wrist for Smith, and we saw a similar hit by pitch yesterday in that same spot for Langeliers. Remember, he stayed in the game.
All right, so a quick visit from the athletic trainer, and he's going to be okay. So Diaz third, Butler at second, Smith at first now, and Soderstrom has started the inning with the home run off Jon Gray. Here he is batting for a second time now.
Yeah, the other part of this with the Rangers to go to a lefty kind of bulk guy the way they're going with Heaney and the way they did yesterday with Martin is it puts Mark Kotsay in a little bit of a spot, right? We saw when we see a right-handed starter, they for the most part empty out their bench, get all their lefties or most of their lefties in there. Well, today they have all of them in there, and so you're going to get some unfavorable matchups for the A's with 5 lefties in there facing Andrew Heaney.
There's a swing and a miss. 1-1. Yeah, I don't think they were anticipating that Gray wouldn't have a fairly standard outing. I don't know that we were either. 1-1. That's fouled away for strike 2. I think pretty much everybody involved assumed that it would be a normal looking start for Jon Gray. But Boch just does not have the wiggle room right now. And so the skipper made the move. Rangers will lean on the bullpen today. The 1-2 pitch, that is just off the plate. A 4-run third inning so far. Andrew Heaney, by the way, not only a new role out of that bullpen, new cleanly shaven face. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Soderstrom, and the inning is done. But 4-run score, and for the first time today, the Rangers looking up at Oakland. It'll be Lowe, Garver, Grossman when we come back.
All right, we go to the bottom of the third inning. The Rangers trailing the A's by 1, and time now for a Coors Light beating the pressure. That man right there, Nathaniel Lowe, he's beaten the pressure a few times in a Ranger uniform. But how about the 19 go-ahead RBIs this season? As Nathaniel looks a little lost. He's looking up for the clock. It's not on anywhere. So maybe now he's feeling the pressure. He was like, well, do I have to go? What's up? That clock has been off for a while. There we go. Now it's back on.
Well, it is just the bottom of the third inning. And Lowe takes a high strike here. Get things going. It'll be Lowe, Garver, and Grossman. 4-3 Oakland. That one bounces. Medina really has not looked real sharp in these first 2 innings. And though his team has come back to take a lead, you wonder if the Rangers might be able to take advantage of him. This is the second trip through the lineup, and there's a ball low, 2-1.
You can see the struggles for him on the road with a 6.21 ERA. He's been okay at home. They like the arm. They're just looking for some consistency in a year where they can afford to give him some looks here in Oakland. They can certainly get sideways on you. You mentioned it, seen it a little bit from him here this afternoon. And one of those opportunities you'd like to see the Rangers, after giving up the 3 runs in the top of the third inning, to get themselves in a position to kind of get this guy out of the game quickly.
Lowe fouls that one away. It's a full count. Nathaniel was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And he'll take strike 3 called, and that was perfectly placed. Not much Lowe could do about that. 1 away.
And he did it with some velocity. 98 miles an hour here from Medina. Down and in. That's a 4-seam fastball, so it stays true, it stays straight, and you get a good look here from up top and just how much that baseball is right on the inside corner.
So it'll be Garver now. And a big bender misses just up for ball 1. Garver doubled in the first inning. First inning was great. Rangers were locked in. Semien with a homer on the first pitch. Garver had a big double. Grossman drove in a pair. Looked like it might be a big offensive day for this team. They had to settle for the 3. And have since allowed 4 Oakland runs. And pressure remains squarely on the Rangers, and there's a strike. 2-1. I was asking Boch today, I said, when was the last time you guys just won a game? You know, it's just kind of not a laugher per se, but just a relaxing win. In the air, down the right side, foul. He said, I don't know. I asked the coach's room today the same thing. When was the last time we just had a game where the team scored 8-10 runs and we just rolled in with a win? He said, if we get 10 runs today, I told him, bring me a martini. He said, I'm going to relax. It's going to feel good. They have, everything has been super tight lately. That's off the plate. Full count.
So what's the number for you? Like, go back 13 games. They beat the Minnesota Twins by 4.
Yeah, well, that's where they scored 4 runs in their last at bat.
No. That didn't really feel like it.
No. Time called now.
They beat the Angels at home on the a little violation. That'll work. August 15th, they won another game by 4. That was at home against the Angels. And then the previous game, they beat them 12-0.
I think those 2 games against the Angels, that's the last time that I think it felt, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's not easy, but at least stress-free, or a lot lower level of stress. Because that's just it. The wins on this tough stretch that they've been on, like yesterday's, they're just nerve-wracking. That one's up to Grossman, ball 1.
So nearly a month. And today's the 10th, and we're talking about the 14th.
Garver on. The 1-0 to Grossman, and he fouls it away. 1-1.
And that's what Boch was talking about yesterday. When I asked him if this is stressful, and he said, I mean, I wouldn't say stressful, but it's intense. But I think when it's this intense over this long of a stretch, it can be it can become stressful. And I kind of threw out the idea of, oh, can a game like last night, a winning, in close fashion, do even more for your team than a 12-0? Or am I reaching? And he looked at me and said, I think you're reaching.
Yeah. We're all looking though, right? That's just it. And Em, I thought, his reaction to some of this, I think it was today, when you got the sense that he was like, I really haven't been through anything quite like this. The 1-2. Bounce back to Medina. He'll try for 2 again. He gets 2. And the inning is done. Rangers can't do anything with the walk. All right, well, the stress continues. Let's take this thing on to the 4th inning. It's 4-3. It can help you relax. A fun shirt like that guy has right there. 4-3.
And margarita.
True. That would also help.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Well, it'll be the 9th place hitter here, Ruiz for Oakland. Grounded out his first time up. His first name, Esteuri Ruiz. He's the first I've ever run into.
Yeah, you did it. Game 13. Got it. Nailed it.
Just about. If I have time, right? If I can really just settle down, give it some thought, take a deep breath, and get it right. But it's hard. This guy, he's an intriguing player for Oakland too. I mean, this is a guy who plays good center field. They have him in right field today. And if they can get him on base with some regularity, then he becomes a real weapon. 58 steals this year as a rookie. We've seen the comeback of the stolen base this season. Some of the new rules. The 1-2. That's low. 2-2. And it's fun. I think it's fun to have guys like Ruiz and others who have an ability to really change the feel of a game when they get on base. Bouncer, right side. Good job by Semien to plug the hole over there. Throws out Ruiz. 1 away. You can stream every out-of-market Major League game this summer, live or on demand. And new and included this year, you can stream all minor league baseball games as well. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.tv for details. Tony Kemp, the batter. And he'll take high. Who was I guess the most distracting base runner you ever had to deal with as a pitcher?
I mean, there was a lot of good ones, right, over the years. I'm thinking about Kenny Lofton.
Yeah.
The guy I faced quite a bit over the course of my career. Played with him later in New York with the Yankees.
Tapper over the mound. Seager on a backhand had it, but he couldn't get it out of the glove. Not a simple play, but I think one he expects to make. Kemp is on.
Yeah, he backhanded it. You're going to see this kind of high chopper here, and Corey Seager coming in on that awkward angle. Fielded it cleanly, but it was the exchange that got him. I think that might have got him in the heel, rattled around just a little bit in his glove.
Yeah, that last little hop, the last 2 hops, it seemed like really died a little bit. And so Kemp is on. And he's running. First pitch. It's a strike. The throw to second, not in time. Kemp gets underneath the tag, and he has his 14th stolen base of the year.
Dealing with some dirt in the face right now. How about the casual lead there from Tony Kemp? And I think he's doing that because Andrew Heaney can see him and almost trying to sell him on, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And then boom, he just takes off. That was close. The Rangers are going to challenge it.
This is challenging the safe call at second base.
Just a matter of whether or not there was contact there from Marcus Semien before the hand got in.
Yeah, it looks like the glove got down close enough to the body. If it made contact with him, I think he would be out. So Bruce Bochy using his challenge here in the 4th inning. Take another look.
That's how casual that.
Yeah.
I'm just gone. It's close. Let's see here. Yeah, see, doesn't look like there's any contact there, unfortunately.
No, and I can imagine somebody looking at at that at home, saying, well, what about the laces hanging off the pocket of the glove? If those hit him, those don't count.
No.
Like that you can see a couple laces maybe ticking the side of Kemp's pants or his thigh over there, but that doesn't count.
I was a little bit surprised, quite honestly, at Marcus Simeon's reaction, because I thought this was close, right? Obviously, the Rangers did as well. He didn't necessarily put up, the fight of like, oh, you might want to check that out, or the way he walked away from it made me feel like he missed
After review, the call stands. The runner is safe. Texas will lose their challenge.
Yeah. So there you go. Alfonso Marquez, our third base umpire and crew chief, with the announcement. Kemp with his 14th steal. He's out there in scoring position in a one-run game. And it brings up Zach Geloff. Heaney with now a couple of checks of Kemp. And there's a swing and a miss. 0-2 on Geloff. Oops.
Did Jonah try to stop his arm from throwing that back?
I don't know. He held the follow through there. Extended. Something.
I wonder if Heaney looked away, maybe.
Oh, that could be.
Let's see. Nope.
Nope.
The old spitball.
It's really weird. So no damage done. The 0-2, and Geloff takes strike three called. Great slider, sneaks in the back door, and they're two away.
Really good location here from Andrew Heaney. You're going to see this pitch. He just off the plate the entire way and comes back and catches that outer third. Plenty of plate on that one for Heaney. He's got that good breaking ball. It's got a lot of coverage left to right.
So now Noda, he's been on both times he's come to the plate today, a base hit and a walk. He'll take a strike. Top of the fourth. Final meeting between these two teams this year. And that one looked good.
Take a look at this pitch to Noda, another slider there, and I'm with you on that one. And again, I think on those kind of pitches, when you don't see Jonah hold it very long, he believes that that pitch was going to get called a strike as well.
1-2 now on Noda. Well, Gray had 3 strikeouts in his 2 2/3 innings work. Time called now. Noda will take a moment. Heaney already with a couple of strikeouts. Came in to get the final out last inning. Hard throwing lefty ready. And here it comes. And that strike 3 called. So he has 3 punch outs. Noda down looking. The inning is over.
Nice bounce back there from Andrew Heaney. Get the strikeout looking at Geloff, and then this one on Noda. 94 dotted up on the outside corner to finish off the A's in the 4th.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Well, inside this afternoon with the roof closed. Right now a 1-run game. 4-3 Oakland on top. Leody Taveras will start things off here. He takes ball 1. Taveras, Heim, and Josh Smith in the 4th. Leody lined out to Tony Kemp in left field in the 1st inning. Real nice play made by Kemp. And that was right as I was pointing out how great Taveras has been lately. 5 multi-hit games in the last 7 contests. It's 1-2.
Perhaps for the Rangers, looking at some of this recent history with Medina, again, can put the pressure on him and get him out of this game. Last start 4 2/3. The one before that 3 innings. The one before that 4. And the one before that 3 1/3. He has not gone 5 innings in any of his last 4 starts. And a lot of that has had to do with the fact that the pitch count has gotten up there on him pretty quickly. At 3 1/3, we're through 88 pitches.
Well, look at that workload inning by inning so far for Medina. And his pitch inside, a full count now on Leote. Taveras, who has spent the better part of the year batting out of the 9th spot in the order, today bats 6th. Here's the 3-2 and strike 3 called. Taveras down looking, 1 away. Well, we've got a moment now to hear from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
There's Jonah Heim, and he'll take a little high. Medina, he's kind of all over the place with the command, but when he's needed to, he's been able to throw the strike. He has a couple of strikeouts so far. He's started 2 double plays. One in the 2nd inning, one last inning to end the inning. He's 1-1 to Heim. It's ball 2.
So there's a total of 8 strikeouts in this game, 5 of them looking. You mentioned with Doug Eddings, a guy that's not afraid to call the corners and more. I think that certainly has come into play. Now, some of those pitches were really good ones. That pitch to Taveras, I think some umpires are going to call that a strike, some maybe a ball.
Little tapper right in front of the plate, and Medina with a shot put to first.
Those are the worst.
Time to get high.
That's why you see so many pitchers throw it underhand. It's an uncomfortable throw to have to make as a pitcher. Think about this guy throws 97 miles an hour, and just to try to slow it down and a little toss at 60-70%. He's the kind of guy for sure that throws that ball down the right field line.
I mean, the underhand move for infielders like that is the cheat code of playing the position, because it is. I just remember being little, right, and in games you play when you get too close to somebody, you're trying to throw overhand to them. Man, it's awkward.
Yeah, for sure. It took me a little while to figure that out, even as a professional. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I think at this is hard. Let's just underhand toss it. That's much easier. Put your pride aside and go play some cornhole with your first base.
Yes, exactly. Josh Smith walked in the 2nd inning. And 100 miles an hour in, he did not go. 1-1.
I'm going to say it with confidence that this will be the first inning in which we do not see a 1-6-3 put out in our scorebooks. 3 straight innings of 1-6-3s.
Nothing if not bold in your predictions.
Yeah.
2 out here in the 4th inning. And the count 1-2 on Smith. Also, bases empty.
But remember the first one, the bases were empty.
Oh, the 1-6-3?
Yeah, the first one of the game.
True. Medina trying to get through 4 innings. Well, one of the early results back already. Tampa Bay beat Seattle again today. 6-3 the final in Tampa. So the Mariners lose again. There's a swing and a miss by Smith. And the inning is done. So we're off to the 5th. Rangers have an opportunity today. They need to take advantage. Down 4-3. This afternoon brought to you by Audi. Rangers in their final game of this homestand, trailing Oakland 4-3 now in the 5th inning. Still a little ways to go. That's a team shot. Upstairs, the Carbach area on the left field line. And Andrew Heaney goes to work, ball 1, delivered to Brown. Seth Brown leading it off for Oakland. Then it's Jordan Diaz and Lawrence Butler. Breaking ball for a strike. Heaney on a relief today of Jon Gray. Gray went 2 2/3, just couldn't get through that third inning. Good fastball, 1-2.
And this could be a really good role for Andrew Heaney. We know he's got the live stuff. We know, of course, he's been a good starter over the course of his career. But this year, we call it a down year, but maybe not the best version that we've seen of him.
It's a strikeout of Brown to start the 5th.
And the state of the Rangers bullpen right now, kind of that boost that they need. Andrew Heaney really kind of profiles as the guy that's able to provide that, as he has now struck out 3 straight Oakland A's, and this time he does it once again on that good slider.
He has these days where he's really tough to hit, and he'll pile up the strikeouts. He can absolutely dominate. And this one lined out to right field. That will drop down and bang off the fence.
Throw him out.
Heading to second base, and in there with a double is Diaz.
This is just a really nice piece of hitting. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Look, it's off the plate. And Diaz expanding the zone and going to the opposite field. And that was played really well by Robbie Grossman. Thought maybe he would have a chance with a throw on the money. He's done a nice job playing those balls off the wall in right field here this afternoon.
Yeah, so far a really good day defensively.
Was it Diaz that hit that other ball to right field?
No, it was Brown, I think. Seth Brown. Strike in there to Lawrence Butler. Butler, who grounded out of the second, reached on the error in the third inning. That's a little bit off the plate. 1-1. Oakland 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position so far today. And this one's popped up. Heading foul, and that ends up in the stands. Everybody be ready. Well, all the scoring done in single half innings. The Rangers got their 3 runs in the first. Oakland got their 4 runs in the third. Other than that, the pitching has basically had control of this thing. The 1-2 pitch. That's strike 3. Another strikeout. 4 out of the last 5 hitters for Heaney.
It's a really good fastball to lock up a lefty. 94 miles an hour, and inner third here from Andrew Heaney. He throws the 4-seamer, not the 2, and so that ball will stay straight and true to where he is aiming, and that is really well located. So when we talk about Andrew Heaney and saying, is he a good kind of, let's say, middle relief, but a connector to setup man, that's part of the reason why. And he is second time through the order right now with the A's. Butler was the first guy that he faced, and just a .214 batting average against for Andrew Heaney. So you think about the first kind of 18 hitters that he faces, and he's put up some really nice numbers. Now it's gotten away from him a little bit third time through with that batting average over 300 against him.
He's 0-2 now on Smith. He's recorded 6 outs, 5 of them strikeouts. That's the type of stuff we've seen from Heaney this year. The 0-2 on the way. Got him swinging. Heaney strikes out the side of the 5th inning, and he's locked in. So now it's up to these Rangers bats. Bottom of the 5th, down by 1. Well, welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning, brought to you by Audi. A nice crowd here on a Sunday afternoon. Put the finishing touches on this homestand. Rangers hoping to do that with a win. But if they're going to do it, they need the offense to step up now. 3 runs in the first. They've been held scoreless since. They'll lead things off with Evan Carter, rookie left fielder, playing at just his 3rd big league game. And he'll take a fastball a little bit low and in. Carter bounced into a double play in the second inning, 0 for 1 today. He had a hit and a walk in his debut Friday.
Those first few plate appearances go, as far as the length of the at-bats, That number won't hold, but certainly impressive for a rookie in that first game when you have all that kind of rookie anxiety and debut nervousness that's going on.
Takes a strike here, 2-1. We talked about too in that debut how he just couldn't feel his legs. Talk about out of body experiences. He was out of at least half of his body in Friday. 2-1. Whoa. Ball 3. And I anticipated, I think we might have even talked about it. It'd be a tough night to wind down and go to sleep after the game. All the excitement, the 3-1. That's a full count. He told me yesterday, he said, no, I pretty much went to bed straight away. He's like, I was gassed. He said, I couldn't sleep the night before. And by the time I got home after the game Friday, I was out. 3-2. And he holds off, and another walk. Walked once on Friday, walks once here today. And he's a good one to have out there now in a one-run game. Lineup turns over from Marcus Semien. Now you look at the American League hits leaders, and there he is atop the league with 164 of them. Homered in the first, doubled in the second.
Oh, that looked like a balk move there. That's interesting. They obviously didn't call it. You know, right-handers are kind of taught with that little flinch of the left foot to try to fool the base runner. Let's see here. Oh yeah, 100%. That was a balk right there.
Down low for a ball. So what is it?
So to better explain, so when you come set as a right-handed pitcher, well, if you can do it really well, you flinch that left knee. And then it has to happen all very fast. You flinch your left knee, then you step off and throw. And why? Because a good base runner is focusing on your legs, or sometimes just your feet. And once that front leg moves.
Are you kidding me, by the way? 1-4. They get the force out of Carter.
Nobody wanted to see that again.
No.
We saw Medina. Remember when he had that kind of push throw and he was uncomfortable?
Yep.
Well, this one was somewhat similar. Now it's a lot longer throw, and usually you just kind of keep your feet moving and let it go. For whatever reason, he just throws a changeup, and he realizes that as soon as he threw it, that it was a mistake. Watch this here. He's in the middle of everything today. Yeah. But his second baseman was there. He had plenty of time. Yeah. It's one thing when your second baseman, your middle infielder's not there, and you get a little caught in between. But anyway, that move, and you know, we have seen it against the Rangers before. I can't remember if it was earlier this year in Detroit or last year we saw that same kind of balk move, and we had watch the left knee. See that? Yeah. I mean, that's not even close.
Yeah.
That's a great job by Evan Carter for not getting picked off there. Because more often than not, we saw Leote get picked off in Detroit. I believe it was last year when that happened. But I saw that one from here, from our view. We're not that close to the pitcher from where we sit and watch the game.
Oh, this one is laced down the left field line. That'll be extra bases for Seager. Simeon's on his horse around third. The stop sign up, and he'll retreat. Marcus wanted to score that from first, but Tony Beasley stopped him. And the Rangers have 2 minutes scoring position.
Yeah, this was a close one. I think Marcus wanted a shot at it. I'll tell you what, Tony Kemp came up with a pretty nice throw. He's not necessarily known as a guy with a strong arm, as this ball is laced down the left field line. Again, we talk about it all the time here in this ballpark. You don't know what kind of bounce you're going to get off the wall. This one shot straight out. That was a good exchange and change of direction by Kemp. And he comes up and he makes a pretty strong throw. But Marcus wanted this in the worst way, knowing it was going to tie the game. You see him going hard, and he's thinking about scoring. And Tony Beasley had put that stop sign up, and probably a good move.
Yep.
Because that was a good throw, even though he doesn't have a strong arm. That was a good throw. It looked like it was on the money.
I'm with you, and I think you still have to have confidence. Lowe and Garver coming up, that you can get him home. Lowe hit by a pitch earlier, and he shoots this one out into left field. That's a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Seager, right behind Semien. The throw, not in time. Seager scores, and the Rangers back in front. And for the 20th time this year, Nathaniel Lowe delivers a go-ahead RBI.
And he does it in the way that Nathaniel Lowe does so often here, and that is going to the opposite field. This is what we call a team at-bat and approach. You got runners in scoring position. You're just looking for that base hit to drive in potentially a couple of runs. Really good base running here by both Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. The throw is offline. A good read by Nathaniel to make sure that he gets to second base after the errant throw. On the money, they may have had a play, but that throw was offline. And that's where Tony Beasley decides to put a little extra pressure on Tony Kemp out in left field.
Well, it's a single, 2 RBIs, an error that allows Lowe to second. And now we'll get a look at that A's bullpen. Yes, sir. 5-4. Rangers on top. Hot dog. You know, the final Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night is coming up Wednesday, September 20th. Red Sox, Rangers, and Dollar Dogs. How can you beat that? Tickets available right now at Rangers.com. All right, well, Rangers fans have been hanging in there. It's been quite the ride lately. Adrian Martinez will be the first man up for Oakland today.
You can see that number there. 4 of the 9 inherited runners have scored for him. 36 strikeouts in his 41 innings so far. He's allowed 6 home runs in those 41 innings. It's a 2-seam fastball, changeup, and slider, but a below average ground ball rate at 39%.
It gets Mitch Garver. First thing out of the box today for Martinez, and he delivers a strike. Garver's been on twice, a double and a walk. Rangers have scored 2 in the inning. They have Lowe out there in scoring position at second. Garver takes wide, 1-1. Travel day today for the Rangers. They'd love to get on that plane in good spirits heading to Canada. 1-1. It's outside, and then we're talking about a series beginning tomorrow night in Toronto. It's hard to get a whole lot bigger than that one's going to be. Although as we roll out these final couple of weeks, that will sort of be the case with each successive series. 2-1 pitch and a high pop-up. Back along third. Smith, the shortstop, into foul ground. He'll make the catch. 2 away. Here comes Robbie Grossman. Right, so tomorrow's series in Toronto, enormous chance in Toronto in the wild card. But once they clear that, then it's like, well, this is a big series against Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, those games will matter obviously because you need the wins, but the head-to-head is what's going to be huge here. The 4 with Toronto, and then the 7 with the Seattle Mariners. 7 of the last 10. Every game matters. Every win is going to matter as the Rangers are trying to get back into a postseason position. But the head-to-head ones, 4 with Toronto, 7 with the Blue Jays. Those are the biggest.
The Rangers took 2 of 3 from Toronto earlier, so they need at least 2 this next week up there to ensure that they have the tiebreaker should it come to it. Grossman takes low, 1-1. They had a shot at Houston on this homestand. If they could have swept Houston, and that was a tall order, but that was the only way that they would end up with the tiebreaker with the Astros. 1, and that ball's hit well out to right field. Ruiz back near the corner, and he'll make the catch on the warning track. Now the inning is done. Grossman just missed it. Rangers though score a couple. Nathaniel Lowe with a big 2-run single as the Rangers in front 5-4.
All right, time now for our T-Mobile coverage cam, and taking a look at the freshly shaven Andrew Heaney. He has been lights out today coming out of the Ranger bullpen. 2 1/3 innings so far with 6 strikeouts and no walks in there. The fastball slider combination has been on point today against the Oakland A's. Andrew Heaney doing a really nice job holding the score, giving the Rangers an opportunity to retake the lead, which they have done. It's fascinating to watch when he gets on these strikeout runs. All right, what was it, 9 that he had?
9 straight. Yeah. 9 consecutive outs. Yeah. Against Kansas City, that was his 2nd start of the year.
And he'll look like a different person for a portion of him. And right now he just looks like he's in command of everything. The 1-1 to Soderstrom, and that's in there, strike 2.
And also the fact that we have not seen Marcotte kind of stray at all with the lineup. As much as this is a team, as we talked about, that leads the major leagues in pinch hits, because they will play some of that platoon baseball. They put their right-handed pitcher, heavy left-handed lineup out there today against Jon Gray, who only lasted 2 2/3, and they really haven't relented. Now, some of those guys they probably want to give a true day off. Right, thinking about a guy like Brent Rooker, who has played pretty consistently, Shea Langoliers, who has played pretty consistently. We haven't seen Aledmys Diaz or Perez or Allen. Giving some of these young guys like the rookie in Soderstrom and Noda a chance to stay in there against a tough lefty in Andrew Heaney.
Soderstrom struck out his first time against Heaney, and he shows a pretty discerning eye there. Full count.
Take a look at this fastball. Looked pretty close, and a somewhat similar call made against Leody Taveras earlier in this game.
Stays 3-2. 5-4 Rangers lead. Heaney has recorded 7 outs, 6 of them on strikeouts. The 3-2 and a little roller foul, and that broke the bat of Soderstrom.
Absolutely shattered that bat as he chased a fastball that was in off the plate. Take a look at this from the side. It's a great time to go ahead and break it over your knee. It's almost there.
Right. He gets a quick second without the timer being on to go ahead and get the bat ready. And now they fire up that clock. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Underway in the 6th inning. And here it comes from Heaney. And he walks him. So Soderstrom is aboard. Lead man on base, and we'll take a listen here to Kia.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia.
So we haven't used the phrase in a while, right? 3 true outcomes when I kind of first came to the game, but Soderstrom's got them all covered. Homer, strikeout, walk.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. There's a bunt down to third. Smith will go to second for 1. That's a nice play, as Ruiz was just trying to move the man up. Boy, bunting for a hit, but unable to advance Soderstrom.
Yeah, it's a good read by Josh Smith, and that firm bunt certainly helps. Quick exchange, throw on the money. You have a catcher running, and you get the lead runner. Now, I wonder here for Tony Kemp, who was trying to get a runner, or excuse me, for Ruiz, who's trying to get a runner in scoring position. Well, he can just go ahead and maybe potentially put himself in scoring position with the great speed.
And we'll be keeping an eye on him. There's the first toss over to first. I was asking you earlier who one of the more distracting base runners you ever had to deal with when you were pitching, and you mentioned Kenny Lofton. He still owns the American League record by a rookie. Runner goes, pitches high, throw to second, and they got him. Ruiz gunned down for the second out of the inning.
It hasn't happened too often. This is a nice feather in the cap here for Jonah Heim. You get a guy like Ruiz, 58 out of 67 coming into today. And this throw on the money, and there is the tag in time.
1-0 to Kemp.
So what's the, you said Kalo has the record? What, American League?
Yeah, Kenny Lofton owns the American League rookie record with 66 steals back in 1992. And Ruiz, who was just gunned down, was 10 short of the record. He has 56. He was caught for the 10th time in that last play. And this one is lofted out to left field. Easy play for Carter. And the inning is done. Nicely done once again by Andrew Heaney. Bottom of the 6th coming up with the Rangers leading by 1. Well, Red Sox and Rangers right back here at Globe Life Field, September 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's how we will start the final homestand of the season. Bring the noise because every game matters. We're going to need fans to pack this place. Get your tickets right now at Rangers.com. Bottom of the 6th and a 1-run game. Leody Taveras will lead it off here. Martinez got the final 2 outs last inning and jumps ahead 0-1 on Leody. Taveras is lined out and struck out looking. It's a little too tall. 1-1. Taveras just a shade under 400 on the homestand. And he's had a big year in aggregate. Power numbers very good. He takes a strike right in the outside corner. But 44 extra base hits coming into play today. It's the most by a Rangers center fielder in over a decade. Josh Hamilton in 2012 had 47 extra base hits. So I think it's fairly safe to say that Leody will surpass that number. The 1-2 inside.
Would you say how many does he have to go?
3 more to go.
3 more. I like his chances. It's been a little bit of an up and down year. We saw him get off to that great start. Very similar to kind of how we had seen the Rangers offense go. Slowing down, but now picking it back up here in the month of September.
On the ground by third. Base hit for Leody. He's going to think about second, but wisely return to first. Now a 3-game hitting streak for Taveras. Heim coming up. We check in with Emily.
Oh, it is time for our Chevy Under the Hood. And this afternoon, we find this guy, Jonah Heim. His hobby, playing with his kids. Favorite villain, the Joker. And favorite food, can't just pick one. They got to go together. Pizza and wings.
Well, he's got an obligation, of course, as a man from Buffalo, New York. Whatever it is, you got to add wings to it.
Fly ball center field, and Butler makes the catch. 1 away. It's just a birthright for Jonah Heim, the Buffalo Bomber. Got to have the wings. Now I will say his hobby that he listed there, playing with the kids, it's not my business to get into his particulars, but I will say I had a doctor years ago told me that doesn't count.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said, well, what are your hobbies?
Yeah.
I said, well, I have young kids. That's my hobby. I mean, I play with the kids. Have fun. No, that doesn't count.
Really? But if you said I played soccer with the kids, then that counts? Because then it's an actual activity you can pin down, and you could say, well, soccer's my hobby, but the kids happen to be there.
His point was basically that when you're parenting, and if you're with your kids, you're parenting, then you're not taking a mindless hobby break. You got. And so then I said, well, I really enjoy golf. Now this is a time when I had kids. I wasn't golfing very much.
Yeah.
I was just putting on a lot of weight, and I think he noticed. And I said, occasionally there's like a thing for work or whatever. No, that doesn't count either. Golfing for work. There's a bunt that goes foul. 0-2. I said, what are you talking about? It's fun. It's relaxing. Said, no, because you're doing it for work. What do? Do you go tinker in the garage with something? Do you paint? Do you, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, well, fine, then I don't have any hobbies.
I'd say this. Obviously, he went to medical school, and I don't think they necessarily, that qualifies you as a hobby expert just because you're a doctor. I tell that guy to calm down.
Well, he worked at Hobby Lobby before.
Tell him, stay in his lane. Am I healthy? What do I got to do? Don't start telling me what my hobbies are and aren't.
That's part of good health, though, CJ. You got to have a well-rounded life. Balance.
It sounds like you were pretty well-rounded back then.
No, he literally agitated me with the questions.
Physically well-rounded.
Oh, I was definitely rounded. Ball and 2 strikes here on Smith. Anyway, that's your sidebar for the day. Taveras takes his lead. And that's in the dirt. 2-2. I just worry about Jonah. Oh, the pizza and wings.
Could he make pizza and wings? Would that count as a hobby? Eating pizza and wings?
Yeah, that would be a good hobby. Martinez from the belt, and that ball's hit well right field. Ruiz goes back, it's over his head, clangs off the fence, heading along the fence now. Taveras will score from first. It's a stand-up triple for Josh Smith.
How about the first one in the career of Josh Smith? And he absolutely earned this. He had been hitting the baseball hard and hadn't had a lot to show for it lately. And finally, he gets one over an outfielder's head. And then he gets a favorable bouncer. We know about the little kind of nooks and crannies that you get in this ballpark and the angles. And it caught that there wall to the right. And the ball ended up going along the fence. And that certainly helped as it trickled toward the Ranger bullpen. You can see it there. It's a good look at it. That helped Josh Smith, who runs well, but helped him certainly land that first career triple.
Well, he does have good speed, and now he's 90 feet away for Evan Carter. Carter looking to pick up his first big league RBI. Infield is in. And that's high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He might have been thinking 4. He got there so easily.
One pitch, and that's in the air, center field. Butler backs up. He'll make the catch. Deep enough, though, to get Smith to the plate, and Evan Carter does pick up his first big league RBI. Rangers pick up another run, and they're back in front by 3. It's 7-4.
Yeah, good at bat right there by Evan Carter. He got a changeup. Gets it up in the air, hit it hard, got some distance on it. That's not a bad pitch. It's down and maybe even slightly below the zone. And you're doing everything you can to get that run in, and Evan Carter did the job.
Now Semien, and he goes after the first pitch. Uncorks one deep to left. It is gone! Second home run of the game for Semien. And he pushes that Rangers lead to 4.
The multi-home runs on this homestand by both the Rangers and opponents has been pretty impressive. And this is a slider and not a very good one, and just kind of spun up and in and locked in Marcus Semien. That's himself another home run here this afternoon. 24 now on the year.
That ball's ripped, and it is gone! Just off the pole. Seager with his 30th of the year, and the Rangers have gone back to back.
And that one got out of here in a hurry from Corey Seager, just 353 feet, but how about 114 miles an hour off of the bat? Fastball middle in, and you're not going to get it by Corey Seager with that bat speed. Ball did not get high in the air at all.
Just clipped the outside of the pillar down that right field corner. Well, that's good enough. So now 997 hits for Seager. How about yesterday? Seager and Semien combined to go 0 for 8. Today they have 3 home runs and 2 doubles. No surprise the Rangers up by 5. This one lined to center. That's a base hit. Lowe's second of the game.
My goodness, this is 3 straight pitches. Homer, homer, base hit. And really can even go back to the lineout that Evan Carter had. 4 straight pitches in which the Rangers have put together good at-bats against Martinez, and it has happened quickly.
We get some action in the pen. Easton Lucas warming up, and there is ball 1 to Mitch Garver. And that might have been the best move, best pitch today by Martinez. Just throw one out of the zone. Give your fielders a moment to catch their breath. 4 runs across.
Yeah, think about his previous 5 pitches. Triple, sac fly, homer, homer, single. 5 straight pitches there. Just need a double for the cycle.
Oh, that's ripped foul. This guy could do it. Garver had a double earlier. That was in the first. 1 for 2 today with a walk. It's been a little tense up to this point today. Finally, at long last, a little breathing room, and this one fouled off of Garver's foot. Stays 1-2. 9 runs, 11 hits for the Rangers. I remember when that was almost like a standard day at the park. 9 runs, 11 hits.
What'd you say, Boch wanted a martini?
Yeah, he's saying, bring me a martini.
They blow him out.
10 runs. He's like, let's score 10 runs. Somebody bring me a martini.
I mean, I hope you're prepared to maybe do that on the plane tonight.
Listen, I'll walk right up there into the. What do you call that area? Where they.
In the service area there?
Yeah.
Yeah. The galley?
The galley, yes. I'll go to the galley and I'll mix up a martini. There's a strike. And Garver, down looking, ends the rally in the 6th inning, but a 4-run 6th.
It was a good one for the Rangers and highlighted by the very top of the lineup in Marcus Semien with this line shot, his 2nd home run of the afternoon, and Corey Seager follows with his line drive home run. The Rangers leading it big now here.
Hey, a little programming note. September 19th will be your last chance to save 50% on Select with a final Coca-Cola Family Fun Tuesday. Use offer code COKE50. You know the deal. You get the discounts of the parking, the food, the drinks, plus you meet Rangers players and coaches at a pregame autograph session. It's a great time. Again, September 19th, the last one. Bouncer, third base. Smith is there. And a put out of Geloff is how we start the 7th inning. Corey Seager with the home run last inning. His 30th of the season. So back to back 30 homer years for Seager. His run as a Ranger has been pretty good so far.
Yeah, and a real chance now to add on to that personal single season high, right? It was a 33 last year that he hit, blew away his previous single season high, and there definitely is plenty of time left. I'll say plenty, 21 games, including this one.
Sharply hit into right field here by Noda. And the A's have a man on. Noda's 2nd hit of the game. So the man on. We'll slide over here for Rally House.
Get ready for kickoff, Texas. Rally House has the game day gear you're looking for, including Cowboys sideline gear and the latest college style.
Seth Brown, the batter, 1 for 3.
We're starting to see a little scrambling down in the Ranger bullpen, but I was about to say that, you know, the other part of this with the Rangers expanding the lead and being comfortable here, at least up by 5, is the work that Andrew Heaney is doing. 3 2/3 innings so far. And if he could finish this one, think about, again, we keep talking about this huge series that is coming up with the Toronto Blue Jays, 4 straight. Then the Rangers will get the next 3 games. They don't have an off day until next Thursday, not this one coming up, but the following Thursday, right? So there's a lot of work for these arms to do. And so the longer you can get Andrew Heaney and the deeper he can go into this game, the better off it is going to be for that Rangers bullpen. And so as Leclerc begins warming up. So I'd love to see him be able to finish this 7th inning and the bullpen only have to pick up potentially 2 innings.
One from Heaney, and leaving it at 2-2. Six strikeouts so far today for Andrew. Runner leads at 2-2, and it's downstairs. You know, we mentioned the back-to-back 30 homer seasons for Corey Seager, and that is a tremendous beginning to his run here with the Rangers. Signed that big deal prior to last season. 3-2. There's a foul ball in and out of the glove of Heim. Sean McFarland of the Morning News tweeting a moment ago that he's the third Ranger with 30-plus homer seasons in his first 2 years with the team. The other two, Alex Rodriguez and Adrian Beltre. Guys who knew a little something about hitting. 3-2. It's fouled back.
That's some impressive company for Corey Seager. He has been fun to watch hit this year. Off to a little bit of a slow start last season. Got settled in, set that career high single season home runs, and picked up where he left off last year and then some.
Payoff pitch, and that's lifted down the right side, foul and out of play. Brown putting up a good fight here. Andrews payoff pitch, and that's right down the third baseline. Fair ball. Takes a bad hop off that wall down there. Noda into third. He'll stop on the Brown double.
One of those weird bounces once again that we get down the lines here at Globe Life Field. Not sure it made much of a difference anyway. Very likely going to be a double, and a nice piece of hitting to the opposite field, left on left here from Brown, who doesn't get very many opportunities against left-handed pitching. You can see that heavy shift that the Rangers had on. Ball just rattles around there, scares some people in the suite. And it was Josh Smith who had to run out there and get it.
So Bruce Bochy makes his way out there now. That'll do it for Andrew Heaney. Really nice job today by Heaney. Out of the bullpen, Jose Leclerc heading in.
A good day to wear your Corey Seager jersey as he has gone deep in this one. 9-4 Rangers leader right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers bullpen tracker. We're talking about the length for Andrew Heaney and how important it is, because you can see the bullpen has been pretty busy over the last couple of days. Jose Leclerc on now after a day off and throwing 29 pitches in the first game of this series. And for Jose, it's been a good year. It's been some up and down with him. 3.09 ERA. The walk rate has been higher than he wants it to be, but there's been a lot of good in the season here for Jose Leclerc. He is coming off an outing in which he gave up a run in that first game of this series against the Oakland A's. Took him 29 pitches to get through that inning. A couple of walks in that one for Jose.
He goes 1-1 to start things here this afternoon. Second pitcher out of the bullpen for the Rangers. Great job by Andrew Heaney. There's a swing and a miss. Strike two on Jordan Diaz, and he wants time.
It's a decent chance for Jose Leclerc. He goes back out there against Diaz with that really good slider. It has been dominant for Jose this year. An 080 batting average against, and 29 of his 51 strikeouts have come on his slider.
All right, well, here it comes. Slider is off the plate, 2-2. Well, I don't think we're breaking any news here that the spotlight has been on this bullpen for the last couple of weeks. Things have not gone well, and largely the bullpen has been in the middle of it. Leclerc has been pretty good, though, in the middle of the storm. 2-2, and there's a swing and a miss. He gets Diaz. Well, a strikeout is the second out of the inning.
And he does it with the cutter at 92 miles an hour. And this is pretty nasty at the top of the strike zone. You're thinking about that bigger slider that's about 10 miles an hour slower than this pitch.
All right, let's check in with Emily.
Well, you know, we talk all the time about momentum and things being contagious. It can go, you know, in the positive direction or the negative direction. you sense that with this bullpen, that's been the case most of the season, that when things have been going well, it's been going well collectively, and when it hasn't been going well collectively. And so this is the time of year and this is the time of the season that they've got to get things going with that direction, a positive direction as far as the momentum is concerned. And maybe a game like this, when the offense is producing, maybe it can kind of snowball in a good way instead of the reverse.
Yeah, it feels like it's time, right? I mean, the way that things had gone for the Rangers in that 20-game span, and one of the worst that we'd seen, certainly was the worst we had seen in the home runs that they had given up. It just felt like it wasn't going to last. They were really struggling with runners in scoring position, worst in baseball over those 20 games, and then they win yesterday and put together so far a nice one here this afternoon. There was no way that the level of play that they were putting out there was going to continue, and it's good to see that it's getting turned around here, and they still got to hold on to finish this one. But this is what we've been kind of waiting on.
3-1 here to Butler. 2 men in scoring position, 2 out in the 7th. Oh, that's off the plate. Ball 4. That'll load him up. So Kevin Smith due now. Noda third, Brown at second, Butler at first base. 9-4. Rangers on top. They had a 2-run 5th inning, 4 runs in the 6th, and Heim out there to have a little word with Leclerc.
Because we know about the command issues that sometimes can get away from him. Obviously, no room right now with the bases loaded. So you want to be inside the strike zone. And for Jonah Heim, the conversation goes to where do we think we can get Smith out inside the strike zone? What are your best pitches that work in the zone? You get ahead, then certainly you can expand. But in the meantime, where can we get him out? Where can we get maybe some weak contact early in the zone? And for Jose, the slider and the cutter have been the 2 best pitches, and the changeup for that matter, that have gotten the lowest exit velocity against them.
He starts Kevin Smith with a fastball, but it's in the dirt. Noda, Brown, Butler, third to first. Smith has 1 grand slam in his career. Today 0 for 2. And he waves it that one. Ball and a strike. Good slider.
It is a good slider, and an even better looking slider when he swings at it, right? It's out of the zone on a 1-0 pitch, but what does that tell you right now? Smith is not thinking about walking. He's looking to drive something. And a guy with a 43% chase rate. That is ridiculously high.
Strike 2 on Smith.
43%. League average sits at 29. And so now Jose Leclerc put himself in that position where he can take advantage of the heavy chase and potentially go with that slider away or the cutter. He did a nice job. And we saw him finishing off Diaz with a good cutter.
Runners everywhere for Oakland. And time called by Jonah.
Yep.
So that is a disengagement. Again, you see the umpire holding those index fingers out to let everybody know. That has been at times confusing. Well, the bases loaded, disengagement shouldn't be all that worrisome though. The 1-2 and a swing and a miss. He got him to chase, and the inning is over.
And a great job by Jonah to hold on to the foul tip, but Jose Leclerc coming up big. Both of the strikeouts in this inning come on the cutter to finish off the A's as they were threatening to score. Nice work by Leclerc.
Rangers maintain the 5-run lead. We hand it over to Chuck Morgan.
9-4, bottom 7 in favor of the Rangers. And of course, the Rangers heading out on a 7-game road trip, starting with 4 in Toronto tomorrow. And some good news on the Josh Young injury front. He will go to Arizona on either Wednesday or Thursday, get checked out there. If he is cleared to take swings, he will join the team in Cleveland, take some live BP. Talked to him today, and he's like, no rehab, let's go. So hopefully if everything gets cleared, he can start doing those live swings, taking some live BP, and get back in this lineup.
Ground ball here, second base. And Geloff throws out Robbie Grossman, one away in the 7th.
Yeah, you certainly appreciate the passion to want to get back in the lineup. It'd be interesting to see exactly how Bruce Bochy wants to handle that. We know that Corey Seager had 2 trips to the IL this year. The first time pretty much forced him to go on a rehab, wanted him to do it. The second time he did not. He didn't seem to make a difference either way for Corey Seager, but Josh Jung is a young hitter. He's having a great year. I imagine the Rangers will want some version of rehab, but perhaps those live at-bats will be enough. We talked about that yesterday and the different opportunities that they've had to kind of simulate some game situations with minor league pitchers, and maybe a controlled atmosphere, maybe the way they want to go. We'll find out, but just the fact that he is on his way back certainly is some really good news.
Well, I do remember with Seager's second injury, that was the equivalent of his rehab was, you know, live BP session. And he doesn't like doing that, but it was better than doing a rehab, and it got him in the lineup that night. And so maybe you feel like you can do the same thing with Josh. It'll be a big lift when they can get him back. 0-2 on the way to Taveras, and he'll take low, ball 1.
And I think obviously the timing of things, right? I mean, at this point in the season, you know, with not many games left to play, you know, obviously the desire for him to get back is evident, but you think that would have to play into it as well.
Pop up, foul ground, third base side, and Soderstrom tucks it away. 2 gone. Bring up Jonah Heim. 9-5. The Rangers have an opportunity today to close some ground on Seattle. Seattle lost earlier. So with a win, the Rangers could climb to within a half game of Seattle in the division, and thusly also the wild card. Meanwhile, they need a win just to keep pace with Toronto, who were victorious earlier today. The Blue Jays had a 1.5 game lead for that final wild card spot, and that's where the Rangers headed next. After the game this afternoon, they will head to Canada and begin a 4-game series with the Blue Jays tomorrow night. Working with a 5-run lead right now. And Burke getting ready in the Rangers pen. It's low. 2-1 the count to Jonah Heim. Houston, by the way, they're at home against the Padres. Whatever. 12-2. Houston on top. Bottom of the 8th in that one. 2-1 pitch.
That game's over.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay, unfortunately. No big comeback. Not today.
Well, they are playing the best baseball right now of all teams in the conversation, and their schedule's the most favorable. So there you go. The Mariners at the moment, well, actually for the day, they'll be 2.5 out after this one. The Rangers have a chance to get back to just 3 out if they can hold on and win this one. There is strike 3 called though on Jonah Heim. And so they go quietly, the Rangers, in the bottom of the 7th inning. 8th inning coming up with the Rangers leading 9-4.
Rangers baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Well, it's been a fun one so far this afternoon. The Rangers leading 9-4. As we have reached the top of the 8th inning. Travis Jankowski into the game now in right field, showing things up a little bit defensively. Brock Burke on to pitch. The first pitch from the lefty, way off the plate, ball 1.
57 innings for Brock Burke in his 48 games. We've seen him as a multi-inning reliever for the Rangers. Tremendous walk rate, sub 4% for him. 3.8% is the walk rate this season. He's had a bigger issue with the home runs, 12 home runs allowed in 57 innings, but you can see just 9 walks on the year in his 57 innings for Brock Burke.
In the air down the left side, foul. Strike 2 on Soderstrom. And the home run in the 3rd inning. Walked in the 6th inning. And Burke gets him hit this one on the ground to shortstop. Seager takes care of Soderstrom, 1 away. Here comes Ruiz. Oakland, meanwhile, and we've touched on it a little bit. This is a team that traded off pretty much all of their regulars the last couple of years, and some really good players. Guys having huge seasons this year. Guys like Matt Olson in Atlanta. But it's been a tough go the last 2 years. Little bouncer back to the mound. Burke waits on it. And now underhands it to first. They get Ruiz 2 away. Oakland's pacing for 112 losses, which would be second most in franchise history. Athletics all-time record for losses, 117 back in 1916 under the direction of Connie Mack. Well, this would be the worst, second worst ever. Ledmus Diaz pinch hitting, and he rolls that one past short and into center field, a base hit.
He did not hit this baseball very hard, got jammed a little bit, just 76 off the bat, but good placement here and just out of the reach of Corey Seager. We were talking about Aledmys Diaz and kind of the shocking numbers that he has posted in his pinch hitting opportunities over the course of his career, and something that he's done well.
So Geloff gets another chance, and he'll shoot one foul. 0-1.
So we went into that at bat. 65 plate appearances that Diaz has had as a pinch hitter, hitting .390 for his career. That is absurd. He's now 24 for 60.
I can't come up with any even imagined or really tortured explanation as to why a guy would be that good at it. It's such a hard skill. This one gets away, and Diaz will basically walk to second base on the wild pitch.
The last 3 years for the league, pinch hitting batting averages, 218, 214, 212. And this guy knocking on the door of 400 for his career.
So the only thing I can come up with, right, the only explanation that could even come close for me is what your mentality as a pinch hitter is. Look to be aggressive because we get a fastball, and so maybe he gets fastballs and just goes after him. I don't know. Geloff flies out to right, and that ends the inning. Last of the 8th coming up here this afternoon. Rangers leading 9-4.
All right, time now for our Baylor Scott Whitehead game diagnosis. And how about the Ranger power bats today? Marcus Semien, who's been swinging a pretty good bat here twice today. One in the first inning, one in the 6th inning. Both solo shots for the Rangers second baseman. But of course, his double play partner's going to chime in as well. The great season of Corey Seager continues. This line shot that caught the outside of the foul pole. Pretty impressive home run that got out of here in a hurry for Corey Seager as he and Marcus Semien went back to back in the 6th inning. And the Rangers did a nice job of opening things up. 9-4 lead now here as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Easton Lucas, new pitcher for Oakland, and he deals high with a fastball. It's Josh Smith to start things here, and the 1-0 pitch popped up. Playable near the back of the mound for everybody. And who wins the contest? Well, Diaz. Jordan Diaz is your big winner today. Not the pop-up.
It can always be a little bit difficult here. First, you got to worry about battling to see it, and then really it makes sense. I mean, Diaz was a lot closer to this ball. What's fascinating about that is that we know that when you start to look at pop-up priority, the shortstop is usually the guy. It's rare that you're going to have your second baseman and your third baseman as the ones that are kind of calling for it. And for Geloff, he went a long way to try to get that. That was a much easier play for Diaz. He was ambitious.
It was like dad was out of the house. Sibling rivalries. Who's gonna take over as the alpha male? That's low, 1-1.
I think equally as fascinating for me with that play is that Smith was closer than Gelof was, and he didn't even go for it. He just went ahead and let Diaz take it.
He was
still on the dirt.
1-2 the count here on Evan Carter. Aledmus Diaz, who's the new left fielder, as he stays in the game defensively for Oakland.
I said approaching 400. He is now a 400 career pinch hitter.
Pretty amazing.
It's nuts.
The 1-2 pitch to Carter outside. 2-2. Nine runs, 11 hits. So a good day offensively for the Rangers. It's a little tight. Good eye there by Carter. Again, he's such a disciplined hitter for a young guy, 21 years old. Got a sac fly today as well as a walk. 3-2 from Lucas, and he strikes him out swinging. 2 away. Well, that'll give Marcus Semien a chance to add what has already been a spectacular day. 2 homers and a double today. He's also reached on a fielder's choice. So he scored 3 times. He's driven in 2. He now has 24 homers for the year. And he'll take low. He's had a good series against his former ball club, the Oakland A's, and he's hopefully doing some of his best work as we go into a huge series with another of his former teams, the Toronto Blue Jays, beginning tomorrow. 1-1 the count. It was in his 1 season in Toronto, where already one of the game's best infielders, he really emerged as a historically great second baseman. Hit 45 home runs for Toronto. That was in the 2021 season. Finished 3rd in MVP voting that year. The 2-1 pitch. This one's into left field, a base hit. Well, Semien will finish the day, it would appear, a triple short of the cycle.
But he'll certainly take the 4-hit day, and red hot here's on a 4-seamer that is outer third and goes out and pulls this into the hole. Marcus Semien has been such a great fastball hitter, especially these last few years when he exploded in Toronto with the 45 home runs. His ability to get to the fastball and hit it out of the ballpark had been the story.
Seager takes a pretty healthy rip at that one. Corey with a home run and a double today. And his home run, that was in the 6th inning, a laser, 114 miles per hour, and just grazed that concrete pillar way down in the right field corner. 0-2. That's high.
3.4 seconds on the hang time on that home run.
Well, he's not a good punter.
No.
We know that much. Oh, Darren Erstad.
Tried to research, kind of looking for a list of hang time on home runs. But the inside the Parkers get you.
Well, count this one. High in the air, out to left. Oh, not going to get out. Diaz will make the catch, and the inning is done. So the Rangers leave a man. 9th inning coming up here this afternoon. It's 9-4 Rangers. Well, you know, you can get the latest news and highlights on your Texas Rangers. It's an easy follow on social media. Great way to stay connected at Valley Sports SW or Southwest, depending on which platform you're using. There you go. They're getting after it in the stands wisely. 9th inning. Rangers lead 9-4. Cody Bradford trying to finish this one off.
Cody Bradford has been really good for the Rangers. He's been a fun guy to watch. We've seen him as a starter. We've seen him out of the bullpen, and he has served a big role here for the Rangers. Got that good fastball. Doesn't light up the radar gun, but it's got great carry on it. Does a pretty good job filling up the strike zone for a rookie with just a 6% walk rate. He's got a 4-seam fastball, changeup, slider, and curveball.
He'll deal with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters here. And time called before he'll deal another one to Noda.
Interesting.
I figure they had time to maybe work through this beforehand. Unless there was something Jonah noticed. And he thought he wants to take advantage of right here. Let's see. The 1-strike pitch. And that's a strike. 0-2.
That's interesting. Doug Eddings, I told you about his strike zone, right? That he'll open it up a little bit. I don't feel like we've seen a lot of it here today. But the bench of the Oakland A's not liking either one of those calls. Now, I'd say they probably had an argument on the first one. That slider looked like it was probably off the plate, but that changeup I thought was probably a lot closer. And Doug Eddings saying that timeout was on me.
Among other things.
Yeah. Borderline. The previous one I think is what kind of got him going a little bit, and then that one. He's still talking back there, old number 88. Now Noda's going to get a timeout.
Now Noda takes his timeout. Okay. All right. Everybody gets one. No balls, 2 strikes on Noda. Leading off the 9th inning for Oakland, a 9-4 score.
Somebody's getting ejected right here. This pitch.
0-2. And swing and a miss. And Noda strikes out to begin the 9th. One away.
Good fastball, 92 miles an hour, but again, the great carry that Cody Bradford gets, and tying up the left-handed hitting Noda.
A pinch hitter announced for Oakland. Carlos Perez will bat here for Brown. One out, nobody on. Perez, pretty good rip, but got underneath it. And eventually lands in the glove of Leody Taveras, 2 away. So the Rangers 1 out away. And this, if they can go ahead and get this out, will be their 2nd series win in the last 7 series. It's been a while. Fastball in there for a strike. This also would be win number 78 for the Rangers. To match a most wins since 2017. There's a ground ball, second base, should do it. Semien on to first, and the Rangers win the series. They come back to win the final 2 games, 9-4. The final this afternoon.
They scared us after dropping game 1, but back on track, exactly what we needed, and especially this one here today, a comfortable win for the Rangers with this 9-4 final. Great job by Andrew Heaney today coming out of the bullpen, and the offense showed up in a big way with the power.
So a winning streak into the biggest series of the years to start tomorrow. We'll take a quick break and wrap this thing up in a moment.